Hello students, and I welcome you to the module 8th of Bootstrap coding with me at A2IT. What we are going to learn in this module 8? Yes, most of you would have guessed it by now. We will be learning the concept of creating tables in Bootstrap. Now, if you have already watched our HTML tutorials, I'm very sure you have learned creating tables in a basic HTML page. But how about creating the tables in Bootstrap? Pretty much simple. All we need to do is use a dot table attribute to make sure you want to create a table. So if you're sure you want to create a table, we'll be using dot table. That is the very first thing. Now, a Bootstrap table has got a very light padding and it has got a horizontal divider. Okay, so these are the two things we need to remember. It has got light padding, and the second thing is it has got a horizontal divider. Now students, Bootstrap gives us a lot of ways in which the tables can be modified, it can be made beautiful. And now we are going to look at those particular attributes and then we'll see how we can use some of them. If you want to make a bordered table, you will be using dot table bordered as the attribute. If you want to make a table which is striped, which has got lines after every row and column, you will use dot table striped. If you want that, if you hover your mouse over a particular row and it turns into light gray or basically any different color, you will be using dot table hover. If you want to make sure that the text gets darker, you can use dot table dark. And in case you do not want, just opposite of this, if you do not want a border, you can use the borderless attribute. Now students, you can use them individually or you can combine. How about getting a striped and dark together? Right, how about getting a bordered and a hover together? So let's not delay much, and now let us make a table and see a practical example how it can be created in Bootstrap. I've got a basic stub skeleton written in which I've already imported my Bootstrap code, and I've got a heading written for saving time. This table basically which we are going to draw, let me give you an idea what exactly we want. So when we run this program, what we basically want is, we want a heading which says it's an employee table or basically the employee details table. We also want in addition that whenever the user hovers the mouse of any of the table, it should actually be highlighted. And my table will have 3 columns. One is the employee name. We want employee last name. And we've got the employee email ID. Is it making sense, students? So this is the output that we are looking for. So let's populate the values in the table. So what I'm going to do is, the simple concept, remember what we are going to use, we will be using a concept of the TH-TR-TD. Now as I have already explained in the HTML course also, a TH tag for a table represents that it is a heading. A TR tag represents that this is a row. A TD on the other hand represents that this is a column. Okay, so we'll be using a combinations of this. So in every row, which is the TR row, we will have a heading. Okay, we will end the TR row. Similarly, for if you want to include not a heading but a column, you will use a TD tag inside the TR tag. So remember these two concepts, something exactly similar to what HTML supports. So let's write down the code here. So I've got 3 employees, let's say. So I'm going to give the name of those 3 employees. I've got Tom and his last name is, I've got the email address of Tom as @ABC Consulting. I've got another column which is for the other employee, which is Lisa, and the email ID is I've got the third employee mosque. Okay, and the email address is okay. So in this code you can see that we are using a class which is table hover. So what will happen, you can either directly just use table, but I'm using the table hover. So what I'm expecting is when I run this code, whichever row or column I hover or basically bring my mouse over, it should basically be highlighted, isn't it? So I'm going to save this code. I'm going to my output window, and this is the file. You can see it has got updated. If I run, here you go. Now does it hover? See, if I click on any hover, I'm just hovering over this, you can see the color has changed, right? So as I discussed, there were some different attributes, like you could use a combination of bordered, striped, hover. We looked at how you can make it dark, borderless. So all those attributes will be available here. You can add all those attributes here, and then you can see the magic. All right, so this brings us to the end of how we can create tables using the Bootstrap coding. Stay tuned for the next module. In that next module, I will actually show you how the images can be used on the websites using the concept of Bootstrap. So till then, goodbye and take care.